Here's how the first 10 drivers to cross the finish line performed. All ratings are out of 10. A drive so impressive he passed the checkered flag twice. This was a sublime, flawless performance from Sebastian Vettel, a lights-to-flag domination that even an early flag mix-up could not spoil. An impressive getaway set the tone after his fine qualifying, and he then used all his experience and nous to navigate the safety car restart. Once that had been dealt with, there only ever looked like being one winner in Canada. More importantly, he now holds a world championship lead and suddenly looks like the driver in form. We have quite the title fight on our hands, folks. Still no wins for Valtteri Bottas in 2018, but 4 second-place finishes in 7 races underline his consistency and dependability, qualities which now look likely to earn Valtteri at least a 1-year contract extension with Mercedes. Advised to get his elbows out more often by the Sky F1 pundits pre-race, Bottas did exactly that on the first lap to hold off Max Verstappen. Just a shame about the mistake late on when he ran wide at the first corner lapping a backmarker Renault, although Vettel had it all under control up front. In any case, that's more like it. Max Verstappen, after butting heads with the media on Thursday, the youngster was as outstanding in Montreal as he had been careless in Monaco, delivering his joint best result of the season but very much his best all-round performance. On Sky F1, Nico Rosberg suggested that Verstappen has a Hamilton-like tendency to excel when he's angry. Max denied as much afterwards, but it certainly felt as though he was making his response to the critics, and with his eloquent talking on the track, he did so in the best possible way. Even when not quite at his best, Daniel Ricciardo still ended the Montreal weekend credit, delivering a strong race day performance and a super in-lap to get the jump on Lewis Hamilton to land 4th place. As he said afterwards, "I don't think I could have done much more. I know it's 4th, but I'm actually happy. Anything else? Last thing, it's my mum's birthday, so happy birthday, Mum. Just don't talk about the fastest lap award." He came into the weekend as the Montreal master, but Lewis Hamilton simply never got going here. The wrong setup in qualifying followed by an engine problem in the race may have accounted for part of that, and Hamilton was grateful for simply finishing the Grand Prix at all. But this was supposed to be his track, and his time to open up a lengthy lead over Vettel. Instead, he goes into a triple header with an unexpected points deficit, and suddenly doesn't look at ease. 0.3 of a second behind in qualifying, almost 30 seconds behind in the race. These are uncomfortable numbers for Kimi Raikkonen, who, after a strong start to the season, is now really being shown up by Vettel. The championship leader has beaten Raikkonen in the last 6 qualifying sessions. The Finn paid dearly for his Saturday mistake in the race. He could not quite get close enough to Hamilton for 5th, and after so many years at the top, is it starting to look like the beginning of the end for F1's Iceman, Mr. Consistent? Nico Hülkenberg has pretty much spent the entirety of 2018 in 7th place, and Montreal barely deviated from established practice. 7th in qualifying, Nico was still in 7th when both checkered flag fell. Bit of a difficult one, isn't it, to explain why Nico is so rarely talked about as a candidate for a top seat. 8th place may look like a good return for Carlos Sainz, especially after making contact with Sergio Perez, but that does not take his teammates' performances into his account. While Hülkenberg continues to extract the maximum out of the Renault, Sainz is consistently a 10th slower in qualifying, and a 10th slower in the race. He is surely still a contender for a possible seat at Red Bull next year, but this loan is not quite going to plan for him at the moment. He's been under the radar slightly this season, and doesn't have the points some of his drives have deserved, but Esteban Ocon is enjoying a really quite impressive run of form. He now leads Perez 5-2 in qualifying, and, though he will be disappointed not to have got past a Renault at 2, he couldn't have done too much more in the race. Mercedes say they will look internally first should they have a 2019 seat available, and Ocon is doing his chances No harm. Is Charles Leclerc the informed driver on the grid? Quite possibly. The F1 rookie endured a shaky start to the season, but his last 4 Grand Prix have been quite exceptional, making it into Q2 in Montreal and out-qualifying both McLaren's. Leclerc backed that up with a consistent and experienced drive, holding off a quicker Toro Rosso to take a point. Ferrari will be quite rightly impressed by the protégé.